Hello everyone, welcome back to another informative video. In this video I want to show you how far the sweet potato has reached, the one that I planted in the fabric container. Now initially I planted two vines or two slips in this fabric container, right? But then now I went ahead and planted another two because the fabric container is fairly large, right? Now as you can see, it is growing well, right? And there are a few things I want to talk to you about as it relates to the sweet potato growing in this fabric container. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is the cage, the support that I'm using for these vines, right? So as you can see, this is a cage, and these cages are normally used for like tomato, and I saw where it can use for vine crops as well, like cucumbers and so on. So being that the sweet potato is basically a vine, I thought that this cage would do well in supporting the vine. So what happened is that sweet potato vines, they do not carry what we call tendrils. If you look on cucumber, you see some long tendrils that they use to wrap around whatever support or whatever they are climbing upon. Sweet potato, they do not carry that, so it's kind of harder for them to wrap around the cage to help in supporting them moving up. So what I have to do is, on a daily basis, I have to look to see which vines are growing tall and wrap them around the cage, right? So as you can see, this one here has basically almost maxed out the cage, right? But what I'm going to do is, as soon as it grows above the cage, I'm going to allow it to come over and then grow down, right? And then when it goes down again, then I'll just bend it and bring it up again, right? So one of the reasons for using the cage also is that it prevents the vine from running on the ground, right? And for all of you who don't really have any large garden space, the cage, or having the vines growing up a cage, is very useful, because instead of the vines growing all over your garden, in terms of the limited space you have, the vines will basically grow up the cage or whatever support you have. Now what I'm going to do is that sometimes what I see is that sometimes the vines, they will kind of fall off, they will kind of slip off the cage. So what I'm going to do is basically use some tomato clips and kind of clip the vine to the cage like this. But I'll do it somewhere like here, where because the tomato, the clip can basically move, right? So I'll basically put a clip at each cross right here. So we have one here, we have one here, right? So I'll basically like put a clip right here to support the vines so that they don't fall off or fall from the cage. Now as I said, this is a really good way to grow your sweet potato if you have limited space. Now as you can see also, I have vines growing over the bag, right? Now what I'm going to do basically is raise these vines and also wrap them also, right? So that I'll basically prevent the vine from extending onto the ground and so on. And one of the other great reasons for growing the vines on trellis is that the vines come in less contact with like soil or the ground, and this kind of reduce the possibilities of any fungal disease, because when the rain falls or even when you water, the soil will splash from the ground onto your leaves and cause fungal infection and so on. So that is one of the other added advantage of growing your sweet potato on trellis, right? As you can see also, we have a few flowers farming, right? And these basically started farming about couple days ago, maybe about 3 days ago, right? And as you can see, we have 2 there, we have another 2 here. Now what does this mean? What does it mean when you start seeing flowers? Under normal circumstances, these sweet potato will take roughly between 90 to 120 days to mature, right? So it's 1 month since I've planted this sweet potato, and I'm seeing flowers. But I'm sure that if I dig underneath the soil, I won't get large sweet potatoes, because it is basically in its initial phases of generative growth, where it's pushing a lot of sugars into the root zone to develop the tubers, right? So seeing flowers is basically a great sign, right? And then these leaves here, this one here that you see kind of getting necrotic on this side, it was basically caused by from the leaf rubbing against the iron here, right? And it kind of caused the damage to the leaf. On a general basis, the plant looks healthy. There are no signs of any insects. So we're just basically going to continue watering the plant and providing nutrients for it, and I'm going to allow this to grow for maybe another 2 months, right? And then after 2 months has passed, then I'll start checking the soil to see how large the tubers are, because that is another way you can use to really check if the potato is ready. So you just check with your hands to just feel the tubers, right? But this is basically how it is growing so far. So if you have any questions or any comments, please put them in the comments here, and please remember to subscribe to my channel. I'll see you again in another video.